Sisters, we are going to start a new Bible study from today. That is the book of Joel. Book of Joel, chapter 1, verse 1 onwards. Let us reflect in these coming days. Book of Joel is one of the minor prophets. You know, there is major prophets and minor prophets in the Bible. Major prophets are Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel. These are the major prophets. But there are almost around 12 minor prophets. And we know many of them, all of them in the Bible, the minor prophets. Obadiah, Jonah, Zechariah, Malachi, on all these minor prophets. And out of these 12 minor prophets, Joel is the second person after Hosea. So if you take the 12 list of 12 prophets, he is the second one. And he's one of the most earliest prophets among all these minor prophets. And Joel, the book of Joel was written around, there are some confusions regarding the timing of the book of Joel. There are many scholars, they say book of Joel was written in the 9th century BC, around 835 BC. But there are also people who say this book of Joel was written down in the 4th or 5th century BC. Some people say this happened before the exiles, before Babylonian exile, Assyrian exile. Before this exile, this book of Joel was written down. But majority of the people are of the belief that this book is written after the exilic period. And there is one thing many people say, and some people who say that this book is written before in the 8th century BC, they say this is written immediately after the reign of Queen Mother Athaliah. Queen Mother Athaliah she ruled the kingdom of Judah. The Israel was divided into two countries, two kingdoms. One is northern kingdom, the other one is southern kingdom. The northern kingdom, consisting of 10 tribes of Israel, are called Kingdom of Israel. The southern kingdom, consisting of 2 tribes of Israel, are called Kingdom of Judah. And this Queen Mother Athaliah was ruling over the kingdom of Judah. In fact, it was ruled by King Ahaziah. But then after 1 year of his ruling, suddenly he was killed in a battle. When he was killed in a battle, his mother, Queen Mother Athaliah, took control of the whole government, the kingdom of Judah. And she was a terror. And she terrorized the whole country. She killed all her family members, except Joash, one small child, escaped somehow because somebody saved by hiding the child. All the others were killed by this Queen Mother Athaliah. And we know that later God himself is condemning her, saying, bringing the Queen Mother and the king out of the throne. So we remember that Bible passage that I have spoken to you some time back from Jeremiah. So my dear brothers and sisters, anyway, this is how the situation, immediately after the reign, 6 years of reign of Queen Mother Athaliah, when she died, there is a transition period from Athaliah to King Joash. At this time, the prophet Joel came. And as a result of the serious sins of Queen Mother Athaliah and all the immorality and killing and murder that took place in the kingdom of Judah, as a result, the protection of God was taken away from the kingdom of Judah. And then the locust, the wild locust, this locust came and destroyed all the greeneries of the country. All the grains and greeneries and wines and everything was destroyed by the locust. The locust means, locusts are, they are very small. They come like a huge millions. And it is historically proved, even in the recent history, in some countries, especially in one of the African countries, there was a invasion of the locust, and the locust coming. When the locust comes, these locusts can even hide the sun. The whole area will be covered with darkness because the locust comes and hides the sun. And there are millions coming in millions. In the moment they come and land in the stay in the land, they give birth. They give birth to the babies, small locust. And initially, the small locust will be like a worm. It doesn't have wings, and then it will start walking on the land for many meters. And then sometimes in one day, 800 meters they walk. And on the way, all the greenery things they eat and consume and destroy. And within 2 days, they will have wings. Once they have wings, they will start flying together, millions together. And wherever they land, they destroy all the greeneries, all the leaves, all the vines, everything they destroy. So such kinds of an invasion happened, and a locust attack happened in the whole kingdom of Judah during those period. And after these locust attack, prophet Joel comes forward and speak to the people. He spoke first, initially he spoke the present situation of the Israel, and then he speaks about what is going to happen in the future. So the book of Joel can be divided into 2 sections. The first section is from chapter 1 to chapter 2, verse 27. And from chapter 2, verse 28 onwards, until the last word, the second part. So the whole book of Joel was divided into 2. The first part is speaking about what is happening in that country at that time. And the second part is about the future glory, the future ingathering, the future prophecies, apocalyptic message. Apocalyptic message means the revelation messages, or what is going to happen in the future. And all those things are mentioned in the second part of the book of Joel. The first part is about the present current situation, and the second part from chapter 2 verse 28 onwards, the book of Joel speaks about the futuristic point. So let us see what the book of Joel speaks to us today. Let us read book of Joel chapter 1 verse 1. The word of the Lord that came to Joel son of Pethuel. And Joel is the short name of Jehovah. Yahweh is God. Joel means Yahweh is God. So it's a summary of the act of faith. Summary of the whole faith. Yahweh is God. Because there were so many gods in those places. So many varieties of God. Therefore, and even in kingdom of in Israel, in kingdom of Judah and kingdom of Israel was influenced by the Assyrians and Babylonians. And in order to prevent those people, in order to show the primacy of Yahweh, many people used to adopt this name, Joel. Joel means Yahweh is God. All the others are not God. Yahweh is God. So that is the meaning of Joel. So that is why they used to take this word Joel in order to show, in order to proclaim, even in front of the Gentiles, that the Yahweh is the only God, the other gods which they believe is not God. So even Gentiles, when they call Israel Joel, they are knowingly or unknowingly, they are proclaiming the act of faith that Yahweh is the only God. So Joel is the name of this prophet. And Joel, son of Pethuel, the word of the Lord came to him. And verse 2 onwards, let's read. Hear this, O elders, O give ear, all inhabitants of the land. Has such a thing happened in your days or in the days of your ancestors? Have you ever experienced such a terrible things that you are experiencing right now? Joel is speaking to all the elders, all the ordinary people, all the senior citizens. He is speaking to them. Have you ever happened to hear such kinds of things happened in the history of Israel any time in the past? And what really happened? We read like this, verse 3. Tell your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and then another generation. Tell all the generations what happened now today. What happened now in these days. The whole land is desolate. The greenery was destroyed. Everything, all the wine finished. There is nothing left, no grains. What the cutting locust left. Cutting locust comes and cuts everything. Removes the plants. He cuts the plant from the bottom. All the branches will be cut off because the locusts come and eat them. Cutting locust left. The swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left. And hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left. The destroying locust has eaten. So here you can see cutting, swarming, and hopping and destroying. These are the different stages of the locust growth. Initially it is like a worm, and then it will become grown, and then it will be like swarming, and then cutting. So these are the different stages of the locust, its growth. And he's speaking about what these different stages, this locust has destroyed the kingdom of Israel, kingdom of Judah. Verse 5, we read like this. Wake up, you drunkards. First he spoke to elders and said, tell your children and children and children, generations after generation, what happened. Now he's telling all the drunkards who are involved in drinking and celebration and marriage and all these kinds of celebrations. He's telling them, weep and wail, all you wine drinkers, over the sweet wine, for it is cut off from your mouth. Those who are drunkards, those who are after that wine drinking, remember all the wines, the plants, everything is completely cut off. Everything is eaten by the locust. So you weep and cry. So this is what Prophet Joel says to them. He was explaining the current situation at those days. And verse 6 we read, for a nation has invaded by my land. A nation has invaded my land, powerful and innumerable. Its teeth are lions, and it has the fangs of a lioness. So he is explaining how terrible the locust attack was. And verse 7. It has laid waste my vines and splintered my fig trees. It has stripped off their bark and thrown it down, and their branches have turned white. You know, if the huge amount of locusts, when they come, the land may be fully green. Within seconds, the land will be like the color of the ground. Everything that is green will be taken away and eaten by these locusts. So this is exactly what is explaining in this passage. Verse 8. Lament like a virgin dressed in sackcloth for the husband of her youth. He is speaking poetically. A virgin dressed in sackcloth. Normally the virgins are dressed in the celebration mood, waiting for the husband. It is like a marriage ceremony. And here the virgins are dressed in sackcloth, means the sackcloth, the color of the land. It is no more celebrative mood, but it is in a repentive mood. And verse 9. The grain offering and the drink offering are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests are mourning, the ministers of the Lord. First he spoke about elders. Then he spoke about the wine drinkers and drunkards. Now he's speaking about the priests are mourning in the temple. Why? Because there is no grain offering and drink offering. Why there is no grain offering? Because there is no grains. There is no harvest. There is no fruits. There is no granary. And the second one, there is no drink offering. There is no wine. Therefore, in the temple, these offerings were cut off. This celebration of the Holy Mass, the celebration of this offering in the temple is stopped because of this locust attack. Just like today, because of the virus attack, the Holy Masses were cut off in the parishes, in the churches. The same thing happened in those days during the time of Joel. Just before his time, he's speaking about what happened by the locust. Here today is virus, but there it was locust. That's the only difference. But the celebrations in the temple were cut off. Any attack in the world will affect the temple in the church, temple or the church. The fields are devastated. The ground mourns, for the grain is destroyed. The wine dries up, the oil fails. So this is what happened. Let's continue. Verse 11. Be dismayed, you farmers. Now he's speaking about farmers. He initially spoke about elders, then drunkards, then the priest, and now he's speaking to the farmers. Wail, you vine dressers, over the wheat and the barley, for the crops of the field are ruined. All the crops are ruined. Verse 12. The vine withers, the fig tree droops, the pomegranate and palm and apple, all the trees of the field are dried up. Surely joy withers away among the people. He is speaking, explaining in a detailed way the situation that was prevailing at that time during the time of Joel. He was explaining and writing it down. Verse 13, we read like this. Put on sackcloth and lament, you priest. Wail, you ministers of the altar. Come, pass the night in sackcloth, you ministers of my God. Grain offering and drink offering are withheld from the house of your God. So when these things happens in your community, in your temple, the holy masses have stopped. The offerings are stopped. It is the duty of the ministers and the priests to repent and pray for the whole community. Put on sackcloth means in a repenting mood. They should pray for the whole community. This is what Prophet Joel is commanding. Let's read verse 14. Sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land to the house of our Lord, your God, and cry out to the Lord. Sanctify a fast, declare a fast, and call a solemn assembly. Gather all the elders and leaders and pray. We know this is even continued even today. During the COVID-19 time, at the peak time, Pope Francis called a fasting day in Rome, Vatican, and all of the world people knelt down and prayed, and Pope Francis carried the cross and gave a blessings, and lifting of the Blessed Sacrament, he gave a blessing for the whole world. Urbi et Orbi, that blessing for the Rome and also for the world is called Urbi et Orbi. So he gave a blessing for the whole world in a repenting mood and declared a fasting day, and we all received the blessing through the social media and the TV channels. We received the blessing from the Vatican. So this exactly the same thing is commanded by Prophet Joel at that time when the locust attacked the whole country and everything was devastated and desolate. And then he said the same thing. Verse 15, we read like this. Alas, for the day of the Lord is near, and as distraction from the Almighty it comes. So he is speaking about this distraction that happened. Verse 16, we read like this. Is it not the food cut off before our eyes? Joy and gladness from the house of our Lord? Don't you know that this all disappeared within seconds? Just like the COVID-19 and the lockdown started happening in all over the world within seconds. Within no time, the whole world was stood still, everything locked up. The same way Prophet Joel said, the locust came suddenly like a wind. Within one day, everything was cut off. The whole country became nothing. All the greenery, all the grains disappeared in front of the eyes. Now Prophet Joel says, is not the food cut off before our eyes? Joy and gladness from the house of our Lord. Suddenly within fraction of seconds it disappeared from our eyes. So my dear brothers and sisters, anything can happen anytime. Even though you people those who think that you are in the safest place, you are in the safest experience of your life, within seconds they may have tragedies, they may have distraction. Therefore, all those who think that you are standing, pray that you don't fall now. Verse 17 we read, the seed shrivels under the clouds, the storehouses are desolate, the granaries are ruined because the grain has failed. Verse 18. How the animals groan, the animals are groaning because they don't have anything to eat, because the animals, they are vegetarians, they eat the grass, but there is no grass left. The herds of cattle wander about because there is no pasture for them. There is no greenery. There is no leaves for them. They are wandering from one place because they are thirsting for food. Even the flocks of sheep are dazed. Verse 19. To you, O Lord, I cry, for fire has devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and flames have burned all the trees of the field. So now he's speaking in a poetic sense. The locust attack is equal to the fire coming and destroying. When a wildfire comes, there won't be anything but only ashes. Almost similar experience happens there. And verse 20, we read like this. Even the wild animals cry to you because the water courses are dried up, and fire has devoured the pastures of the wilderness. Everything dried because when there is no greenery, extreme hot, and it affects the whole water sources, and it was dried up completely. So this is what we read from the chapter 1 of Joel. We will continue reflecting about the chapter 2 in the coming days. And the rest of the chapters, there are around 4 chapters. So let us continue praying together. Let's sing together the offertory hymn. And let's thank the Lord for all the blessings the Lord has given, or for all the intentions here on this altar. Allow me this.